exercise 2, and this one looks at the proof of Formula 1, which is a derivative of addition of vector functions. So we're asked proof Formula 1 of the differential rules for vector functions. Actually, I just fixed that up. I meant differentiation rules for vector functions. And this is the Formula 1, which is d over dt of u of t plus v of t equals to u prime of t plus v prime of t. Basically, the derivative of two vector functions when you add them is equal to, well, just each individually take the derivative of them. So let's take a look at the solution. So so let u of t, so this first vector function equals to, just have comprised of these three functions as components. So u1 of t, u2 of t, u3 of t, and then the second vector function v of t has components v1 of t, v2 of t, of v3 of t. So these are just real valued functions as components, and this is a full vector function. So taking the derivative of the components, we obtain, so let's take a look at the components. So we go d over dt of, and I'm going to write u of t plus v of t equals, yeah, so this just equals to, well, this is the same thing as writing d of dt. So now we're going to add these components. So we're going to add the components and then and put them as one function like that. So it's going to be u1 of t plus v1 of t. And now the next one is going to be u2 of t plus v2 of t. And then we'll get the last one is u3. So we just add the components u3 of t plus v3 of t, like that. All right, and now we I just shrunk it and put it in one line. So now this fits over there. So what I'll do now is I'm going to put an equal sign here. So now we can just take the derivative of each one. So we'll just put this d over dt inside each one. So we're going to get a d over dt of, instead of writing it all, maybe I could copy this. Yeah, copy and paste. And here I just quickly pasted it there, and then move it here. So we copied and pasted there, and then put this bracket like that. All right. And instead of doing it always, I'm just going to go like this. Just saves time. So copy that. So again, we just put those together. Now the next one is going to be d over dt like this. And then change these to u1, u2. And this is, u2, v2, like that. And then same thing. Paste this again, move it over here. And yeah, box this out. This is going to be 3. So again, just to save time there. Yeah, you get the idea there. So now we put the derivative inside each one, and now we just take the derivatives. This just equals 2. Now this is going to be, well, u1 prime of t, because now these are just real functions. These aren't vector functions anymore, and we could just use the basic properties of functions. When you take the derivative, when you add them, is the same thing as yeah, this is 1, this is a prime there. Okay, this is a prime. Because these are real value function, and we already know that the derivative, you could just add them up like that. And then this is going to be u2 prime of t plus v2 prime of t. And that's pretty much how we're going to solve all these properties of vector functions, derivatives. We take derivatives and then basically of components and make them, and then just follow the real valued function rule, derivative rules, and they're pretty much the same thing. And we get the same thing for both, so or the same corresponding one. So u3 prime plus v3 prime t, like that. And just like right here when we added these together, now that we have all these, so we added these together. Now we could just well, separate them now. So instead of writing these together, we'll just this is the same thing as writing two vectors separately. So this is going to be u1 prime of t, and then u2 prime of t, and then u3 prime of t, plus, and now we get a v1 prime of t, v2 prime of t, and then v3 prime of t. In other words, we get two vectors combined, and then we can just write them as two vectors combined. So we can just write this as u prime of t plus v. This is, we don't need to put this is a vector now. Never mind. Yeah, this is the vector that has components as functions. Yeah, like that. So we get rid of that one there, and this is going to be now prime. We have v prime of t. So that we could box this in. All right, and yeah, that's pretty basically what we got there. So I'll just put a check mark there, and again, it's exactly this right here. The derivative of two vector functions, when you add them, it equals to the derivative of them separately, and then add them.